Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to a brand new video. If you're new to the channel, please make sure you do subscribe to the channel. We just hit 1K subscribers. So thank you all for subscribing and liking the videos. Make sure you do like this video as well because it helps it get out to more people and it helps with the algorithm and stuff. Like, thank you guys for this. And never in a million years did I think I'll get 1K when I started back in 2022. You know, the season we got relegated. But yeah, so today's video is going to be just a video talking about the newly promoted sides and how we are showing the Premier League. Hey, it's not that hard to stay up as a newly promoted club because Leeds United, Burnley, and Sunderland are all playing good football. Two of the three. I wouldn't put Burnley. I don't know if they're really playing great football, but we're all at the relegation zone right now. That's all that matters at the moment. I mean, Sunderland are on another level. Sunderland are flying. Sunderland are flying. They're in fourth place in the league on 17 points. They're safe already. Their season, no matter what happens from here, they're safe. They're not getting relegated this season unless there's like an almighty collapse, which I can't see happening. No way would they have an almighty collapse at the end of this season. Then you got Leeds United in 15th and Burnley in 16th, as Burnley are on a 2-game winning streak, of course, beating us and then beating Wolves. So they've won the last 2 games. Below us, you've got Fulham, who no one's really talking about for like relegation or anything, but Fulham have not played well this season on 8 points. They got Wolves next. That's a massive game. I kind of want Wolves to win that game. I mean, I think a draw would probably be the best, but I would like Wolves to win. I just don't think Wolves are going to have enough to stay up. Maybe you say, yeah, a draw would be good because Wolves might invest in January and you might want them to have as less the minimal amount of points as possible going into January because they're going to invest and buy some players, in my opinion. So maybe that's one of those things where you want to keep them as low points as possible. Because even like the last couple of seasons, I swear Wolves have like started off slow and then all of a sudden they just go on this like win streak somewhere through the year. And I think they did that last season when they stayed up. Yeah, and I think I've seen like they've been near the bottom for a couple of seasons and then they just like shoot up and survive. But yeah, you look at Forest and West Ham. I mean, Forest should survive. They finished in Europe last year. Their team's good enough to survive. But it's that thing about no team is good enough to go down. Wait, no team, yeah, no team's good enough. You know, you can't say, oh, they're too good to go. That's the one. No team is not good enough to go. Every team can go down. Every team can get relegated. Yeah. Forest might have an unbelievable team, but if their form's not working, their players aren't performing, and they start losing and losing and losing, and that gap builds, they're in a lot of trouble. And they got Man United next, who at the moment are absolutely flying. You know, you got West Ham, who have got Newcastle next, who, in my opinion, Newcastle win that game. And of course, you got Wolves, who got Fulham. So the bottom 3 teams could all lose again. And that gives not Burnley because they got Arsenal, but that gives Leeds United a chance to build if we can even just get a draw against Brighton and make the gap even bigger between us and the relegation zone. But yeah, going into this video, I just wanted to talk on basically the 3 teams and how we played this season. We'll start off with Sunderland, who are absolutely flying. Of course, they had their opening day win, which was a 3-0 win against West Ham. They were unbelievable. You know, you always go into that and say, it's first game of the season, it's at home. Normally, you know, the crowd's bouncing, and when you have a team like Sunderland, like we do with Leeds United, the atmosphere, you know, at your home stadium is always going to be massive. You know, it's always going to get you over the line, especially when you have a good fan base like Leeds do, like Sunderland do. The stadium alight when it's rocking. You know, it's a very tough place to go, just like Ellen Road. And that's kind of what I put down with their first win of the season. Oh, they're at home. First game in the Premier League for how many years it's been? A long time. And I put it down to that. Their next game, they then lost 2-0 to Burnley. And I think that kind of made everyone go, oh, this is what's going to happen. You know, they're going to be near the bottom of the table. They had an unbelievable first game of the season, but, you know, normality will resume, basically. They then went and beat Brentford 2-1. Good win. They drew with Crystal Palace 0-0. I mean, Palace are flying. Then they drew 1-1 with Aston Villa. They then went on and beat Nottingham Forest 1-0. They then lost to Man United 2-0. They beat Wolves 2-0. And then their last game, in the last minute, they just beat Chelsea 2-1. So they're absolutely flying. And, like, you look at their results, right? And before the season started, what would you, like, predict how many points they would get? I thought they would win on the opening day, as I said, because the atmosphere and stuff at the Stadium of Light. So I thought they would win that game. The Burnley game, I actually thought they would win. I thought they would win the Burnley game. That's the game I'm like, I think Sunderland will have too much for Burnley. I thought they'll lose the Brentford game. Yeah. I thought they'll lose the Palace game. I thought they'll a draw against Villa. At the way Villa were playing, I was like, I think they'll draw against them. But you could see them losing. Like, realistically, based off last season and stuff, they should have lost to Villa. Based off how good Villa were last season, you know. So that should have been a loss. Like, if you're looking at the games before the season started, you would have said loss. You would have said they would have lost to Forest, but they beat them. And then you would have said they would probably, Man United, you would say, well, they were shit last season, so maybe they could get a point or something, but they lost. But then, like, Wolves, they won. And then Chelsea, I didn't think they would beat Chelsea. I thought Chelsea would have too much for them, but no, they beat them as well. So they're absolutely flying on way more points than anyone would have expected them to be on. Now, I know the AFCON will come up, and I think that's when they're going to drop a bit. But hey, they're fine. They're safe. Like, I'm happy for them. Like, I'm not, like, salty or anything because I'm a Leeds fan saying, I wish that was us. Like, I mean, I do wish it was us, but I'm fine with them being that good because they're absolutely playing amazing, and they're proving that teams coming up from the championship can compete. And, they're smashing it. Fourth in the league at the moment. That will change at some point in the season. I said at AFCON, especially when they lose a half of their squad. They lose a bunch of their players to AFCON. But yeah, they're doing very good. We'll go into Burnley next. We'll save Leeds for last. So Burnley started their season a tough game against Spurs. And then they lost 3-0. I mean, they got battered by Spurs, but you would expect that. Away from home, first game of the season against a Spurs side who, before the season kicked off, everyone predicted at least top 6. You'd think they would lose that game. They did. The Sunderland game, as I said, I thought Sunderland will win this game. Turf Moor, they won 2-0. Turf Moor is going to be a tough place to go all season. Like every ground in the Premier League is a tough place to go. But yeah, they won 2-0. They were unlucky against Man United, losing 3-2. That penalty in the last minute, that shouldn't have happened. Hannibal, I think it was, can't remember who it was, but pulled him down in the box. And you just like, if he doesn't put his arm out and grab him, it's 2-2, you draw, you get a point. It's a good point. They then went on and lost to Liverpool 1-0 again, where they conceded a late penalty in another game where you could have saw them, getting a point when it was getting close to the end, and then they conceded right near the end with a penalty. They then drew with Forest 1-1. They lost to Man City 5-1, which you would expect. And then, then in October, they lost to Villa 2-1, and then they beat us and they beat Wolves. So they're on a 2-game winning streak, which put them on 10 points, which pushes them outside the relegation zone. And they're playing, they don't play the best football. Like, it doesn't really matter. You just have to be strong defensively, and especially at Turf Moor. For me, with Burnley, Turf Moor is going to be a tough place to go, as I said. And I think just their defensiveness at home is going to be what gets them over the line if they do manage to stay up. Now, you go look at I do look at the bottom 3, and I'm like, surely they don't all get relegated. Like, I don't see Forest getting relegated. Wolves and West Ham I see because they're just absolutely terrible. Like, they played terrible this season. They've been absolutely awful. Forest, I think, should stay up because of the squad they have. But then again, you go to West Ham and you go, Paqueta, Somerville, Bowen. You look at their attack and it's filled with good quality footballers that should be good enough to survive in the Premier League. But then you also look at 17th Fulham. Fulham, you think, probably, before the season started, probably mid-table, but they've been awful. They're in 17th at the moment. So you look at that and you go, well, one of these teams that everyone says they have players too good to go down, it looks like at least one of them will be going down, maybe multiple. But yeah, it's weird when you look at that and you look at their squads, and like normally that's what you say, well, they have too many good players to go down. But what it looks like is they're going down with those quality players. It's like it's still a thing that can happen, and it looks like it could happen. I think teams got a bit too complacent as well when it came to promoted teams, because the last 2 seasons I think teams got a bit too I think teams just got a bit too comfortable that were established Premier League sides when we came up in Sunderland and Burnley, like this season. Because the last 2 seasons where the promoter sides have been shit, they've done nothing, and they've gone straight back down. But yeah, let's get on to Leeds now. The last one, of course, Leeds United. Good start to the season. We beat Everton on the opening day, which I thought would happen because we're at home on the opening day. As I said, Ellen Road, a bouncing 1-0 win. We then lost 5-0 to Arsenal. Fine. Arsenal are an amazing team. They're going to probably win the league this season. Not really a title race at the moment. You then go the next game, we drew 0-0 with Newcastle. Great result against a Champions League side. I know Newcastle aren't performing well right now, but I think they will turn that around and finish near top 4 by the end of the season. You then go into the Fulham game where we were unlucky not to get a point. Last minute own goal by Goodmanson in a game where we were the better team again, you would say. Like, you go into these opening games, you go, Everton, you probably say we were the better team, or it was even. Even or maybe slightly to Leeds. That's what I said. Arsenal were the way better team. Then you go to Newcastle, and I think it was just like a good defensive performance, where you could see no one had the attack to score. I mean, we had no confidence in front of goal, and Newcastle didn't have a striker at that point. And yeah, and then you go into the Fulham game. As I said, probably the better team in that game as well. Probably should have, did deserve at least a point. The Wolves game, absolutely smashed them. Brilliant performance. You then go to Bournemouth, where I thought we were the way better team again, conceding in the last minute. With a set piece, again, the last minute goals that have cost us points this season. And then, yeah, we lost to Spurs 2-1, where you can argue we were the better team, or at least deserved a point in that game, because I thought we played well. Burnley were absolutely terrible, 2-0 lost. And then West Ham, we were the way better team, won it comfortably. Even though it wasn't comfortable at the end, it was a 2-0 early scoreline. And then they came back, they scored very late and made it a bit tense, but we were the way better team for the entire game. But yeah, I'm excited for the rest of the Premier League season, because Leeds United, Burnley, and Sunderland have all showed that they can compete in the Premier League. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I just wanted to make a quick video talk about the newly promoted teams. Oh my god. Something just flew in front of my face. Yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video talk about the newly promoted sides and how we're shocking the Premier League, because no one expected us to really even give it a fight. Everyone was like, oh yeah, they'll go all back down again, there won't be any fight. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Peace.